For more content like this, log on to gibbopresents.com.
It's Gibbo, and right now I'm once again joined by Basakyat from Ma Gash, who last night defeated Camouflage and Immortal at the 2017 edition of the 123 Badda Dan Clash in Switzerland. Basakyat, how are you feeling today?
What's up, Gibbo? It's been a while. I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great. Very happy. Last night was great. We had a great time. Beer greatness, that's all I have to say.
To start with, for the benefit of people watching this interview who weren't at the Clash, can you explain what the rules and the format were, and then talk me through what took place round by round?
Sure. So the format was the following. It was 4 rounds. The first round was 10 minutes. The second round was 15 minutes. Third round was 15 minutes. And the fourth round was 10 minutes. And then at the end of the fourth round, it was going to be decided who dropped out. And then, you know, it would go to dub for dub.
And then talk me through what took place on the night, round by round. Give me a brief summary of how it went down. You know,
I know you always ask me this, but I feel like I shouldn't do it, bro, because, you know, we all have a super, like when you're in the Clash, we all have a super different perspective on, you know, what took place, and it's going to be impossible for me even if I try to give an unbiased version, just because like we're too into the Clash. But I can just give you the facts, basically. The facts were that we won the 4 rounds straight. So it was we took Washington made the people vote after each round who won the rounds, and we won all of them, you know, by a landslide. I mean, in terms of the votes, it was very clear that all 4 rounds we took them. So then there was a little bit of confusion, because to me, if you won the 4 rounds that clearly, in terms of the hands and the vibes and everything, there shouldn't be a dub for dub, you know. So there was a bit of confusion, but at the end of the day, it's true that Washington, it wasn't in the rules explicitly that, you know, if one sound wins 4 rounds, then there's no dub for dub. It had never been stated clearly in the rules. So at the end of the day, we said, all right, we're going to go to dub for dub. So then after that was decided, Washington asked the people, who is Ma Gash going to go to dub for dub with? And then they had a vote, and it ended up being Camouflage. So then we and Camouflage went to dub for dub. And then we won, I think, the first 4 points. So it was 4-0 for Ma Gash. And then Camouflage made it back up to 4-3. Then I think it was 5-3 for us. And then 5-5. It went down to the last final point. And then 6-5. And then we were awarded this.
Okay, so taking into account that you had won all of the rounds going into the dub for dub, did you consider saying, we've won already, that's it, we're not taking part in a dub for dub?
Oh, I did more than consider it. I said it pretty clearly to Washington, and I gave him a hard time. I told him, I am not playing dub for dub. We won all 4 rounds. But at the end of the day, you know, like I said, probably, you know, to some extent, it should have been decided. I mean, it should have been decided before. To me, it was implicit that if a sound wins all the rounds, we're not going to dub for dub. I think even in some of the previous editions, that was like explicitly the case. It was said at the beginning of the Clash. Because here it wasn't said explicitly, even if I gave him a hard time, I can't blame him for what he ended up doing is asking the people, you know, do you want to lock off or do you want dub for dub? And it was close, but I have to agree that the second time that he asked it, there was probably more hands for the people saying dub for dub. So at the end of the day, we just had to work with what the people wanted, you know?
As you mentioned, in the dub for dub, you took an early lead. It was then tied after Camouflage rallied back 5-5. So essentially, as you said again, it came down to the very last tune of the night. What was going through your minds when you selected that final tune?
I was like, yo, what the fuck are we going to play? That's what was going through my mind. Gibbo, I still don't understand dub for dub, you know. Dub for dub is, I don't get it, you know. You play songs, sometimes they're too deep. sometimes they're too regular. There's some kind of very fine grade balance that I still don't understand. So at the beginning, it was working very well. But then, you know, when Camouflage started to make a comeback, then it started getting sticky, and we were like, shit, what the fuck? This is the last song of the night. This is the song that we have to play right now. What the fuck are we going to play? That's what was going through my mind.
It's been a while since you personally have taken part in a clash. The last one was out in Japan, tag team with Warrior. Did you feel rusty at all?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I think I even made a speech about that in the first round, saying, people, you know, I might be rusty. We're going to have to see what happens. I did feel, I think, a little bit rusty, but that at the end of the day, I mean, I had so much energy for this clash because, you know, it means a lot to me. I've been away from Switzerland for years and years now. So for me to come back and be able to play in front, there were so many faces in that clash that I hadn't seen in a very long time. So I was rusty, but I think at the same time, I overcame it pretty easily because of like the energy that I was getting from the people, and just I was so glad to be there, you know.
Going into the clash, what was the game plan for you guys, and why did you come up with it?
The game plan was to try to find a balance. One thing that was really important for us is that there's multiple sides to Ma Gash's dub box. And because of just the clashes that we've been doing lately, a lot of them have been like in New York or, you know, in Jamaica and some very hardcore places. And so there's a set of tunes that work there that will not work in Europe. So a major side of our game plan was to try to show another side of our box, you know, a side that made us win clashes in Switzerland way before all the travel in foreign places. So we wanted to try to find a mixture between some hardcore songs that, you know, made us successful in New York and Jamaica, and also go back to some of the roots, you know, like some of the songs that really people were expecting us to play from, like some of the anthems in Switzerland. So that was kind of our game plan.
And a clash of this magnitude in your home country, I would guess you started preparing for this quite a while ago.
Yeah. Yes and no. No, I mean, for sure, the day the clash was settled, we started thinking a little bit. But you know, in terms of like cutting tunes, we actually we didn't cut that many songs for the clash. We cut very specific things that we absolutely wanted. And so in terms of the voicing, we started fairly recently, I'd say within the last month or something. But in terms of the ideas and figuring out what we wanted to do, yeah. Basically, I think the date was booked. The date was booked the day it was announced. So that was, I think, in July or June or July or something like that. And from the very first day, you always start thinking, all right, well, what are we going to say? What are the arguments that we want to bring in the clash?
What were you expecting from both of your opponents, and did they play as you thought they would?
Yeah, they played, to some extent, they played what I thought they would play. I think during like the second and third round, the energy level from both sounds kind of went down, and I think they were playing like too many slow rhythms. One thing, so I listened to like to the UK, what was it called, UK Rumble. Yeah, that Immortal was in, and I thought that they really brought a lot of energy in that dance. Like you know, just from listening to audio, like I could feel like the energy, and it was a lot of up tempo juggling. And that's what they ended up doing in the fourth round. That actually worked really, really well. So things happened kind of as expected, but maybe not in the order that I expected them. I'd put it that way.
So where do you feel Camouflage could have made some improvements? Where do you feel they went wrong?
Yeah, again, I would say they played a little bit too... Camouflage has a lot of good up-tempo selections, same way. So I was maybe expecting to hear more of those. And again, that's kind of what they did also a little bit in the fourth round. So I think in general, the crowd was not super responsive to like slow, half-dubbed rhythms. They were more responsive to like, you know, up-tempo juggling. So I think probably in terms of the selection, that would have worked better somehow.
Speaking of the crowd, roughly what percentage would you say was Swiss and what percentage had traveled in from elsewhere?
Yeah, that's a little hard to say. I mean, there was definitely a good crowd of Swiss people. I'd say that the majority of the Swiss crowd was kind of the crowd from BN City that would, just probably like the usual dancehall fans that would just like go to a party. There were a lot of sound men in the audience, and then in turn of the sound men, the Swiss sound men were only a very small fraction of that. So I don't know, I'd say roughly 50-50, but that's a very rough estimate.
Although the clash didn't take place in Geneva, Ma Gash is of course a Swiss sound. Did this give you an advantage in terms of the support from the crowd and knowing their musical preferences?
I think the crowd was extremely fair. So it was definitely not at all a biased dance. The crowd was really fair. Of course, I had an advantage, because we played in Kupal, I don't know, at least 10, no, maybe not 10 times, I'm exaggerating, but like at least 8 times or something like that in our 12 years. And then we played other dances in BN City as well. So in terms of knowing the crowd, it's clear that we had an advantage because we kind of knew what to expect, what do they like, what do they not like. And then, yeah, I took a lot of energy from the crowd. I mean, to some extent, I think there were people that were really happy to see Ma Gash clash in Switzerland again. And I really fed from that energy a lot during the clash, for sure.
You have just beaten 2 well-respected sounds. You've added another trophy to the collection. You've clashed for the first time in a minute. I'm sure the adrenaline is still running through your system. So who do you want next?
Well, I haven't clashed in a minute for a reason, because I'm extremely busy with the other side of my life, which is my professional career. The part that takes care of my bills. So all I'm hoping for, it was not clear that even the Badda Dan Clash was going to work out. It just kind of happened in a period that made sense for work as well. So I'm just hoping, that I can find the time and that things are going to just fall in the right place and I'll be able to take more clashes. And if all goes well, there will be some things announced very soon. And let me add one more thing. Ma Gash has just won Badda Dan Clash. Rough Pack won Warina East. Those are the two biggest clashes in Europe, 2 Swiss sounds. So Switzerland is on the map like never before. And one thing we want to do, I challenge any 2 sounds from any 2 countries. Rough Pack and Ma Gash tag team clash, we will kill anybody. So if they're ready, line it up and we will be there.
Would you prefer 2 European sounds from another country or 2 sounds from elsewhere in the world?
I don't care. Anywhere. Japan, New York, Jamaica, Canada, Germany, Italy. I don't care. We're ready.
Is it likely we see Ma Gash with or without you clashing again this year?
No, this year I think it's extremely unlikely. Before the end of the year, I very much doubt so. But early 2018, we're really working on some things as we speak right now. So again, I don't know right now, but I'm doing my best and I really hope it works out. And let me just take 2 minutes to big up all the promoters, including Rough Pack, that have been working with me and being patient with me, because I know it's rough and I can't do any better than what I'm doing, but I just want to say give thanks straight.
Any other big ups you want to deal with? Any other mentions before we finish?
Yeah, I want to big up Rough Pack once again, because Badda Dan, it's something that they've spent so much time and effort and energy in. But it's something that me as a Swiss youth, I can be proud of same way. I can be proud that Badda Dan Clash is, a gigantic clash in Europe, and it's in our small country called Switzerland. So I just want to big up Rough Pack straight for the hard work. This was the 12th edition. And I know it takes a lot in putting up a clash like this. So I want to big them up straight. I want to big up everybody that came out, all the people that I hadn't seen in so long. I want to big up Camouflage and Immortal, because I had a lot of fun last night. It was a great clash. There was some tension in the dub for dub same way, so everything was there. Yeah, big up, just big up everybody straight up, all supporters.
Basakyat, congratulations on the victory. Thanks a lot, and good to see you back in action once again.
Respect, Gibbo. Always a pleasure. Keep up the good work.
Gibbo presents